Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Josh Versailles. Today's video is why you shouldn't socialize your dog. So changing gears up from last week's video on how you should socialize your dog the right way, we're talking about why you shouldn't socialize your dog. You shouldn't socialize your dog if you're going to places where you know things can happen, such as dog attacks, stuff like that, where there might be dogs off a leash. You shouldn't put yourself in a situation like that or your dog and set yourself up for failure. You should never socialize your dog without consulting a professional dog trainer at all times. If you've never consulted a professional dog trainer and your dog has shown any signs of reactivity whatsoever, do not socialize your dog. As I just said, you should never socialize your dog if you haven't consulted a professional dog trainer. If your dog hasn't been through obedience training, has no fundamentals, it doesn't really have guidance, lacks discipline, structure, etc., you should never socialize your dog. I would never socialize Versailles or put her in a bad situation where I knew that it might get out of hand. Sometimes you can't predict what's going to happen at a dog park. Sometimes you can't predict, how a dog is trained, what a dog's going through. Just because you see certain things in a dog's body language doesn't always mean that you can read the right sign and understand exactly psychologically what's going on with that dog. You shouldn't socialize your dog. If you just got a dog, you got a rescue dog, you got a dog from a shelter, you shouldn't rush and immediately go take your dog and go down to the dog park and start socializing your dog. The dog will need guidance, structure, discipline. It's going to need to build that relationship with you, that bond, get familiarized with its area, its surroundings, before you venture out and start socializing them in different environments. Hit that like button down below or comment if you're getting any value out of this video. With that said, it's really important when you do socialize, take dogs and expose them to many different sights and sounds. That could include going to like a Home Depot, going to a Starbucks, going around where loud noises might happen, maybe walking by a ballpark or something like that, where there's tons of noise, people making all kinds of ruckus. That would be a great way to see where your dog is at and expose them to socialization. You shouldn't socialize your dog if your dog is showing tons of fear when being around new dogs, getting introduced to new dogs. Right away, you should pull back on that. Find out exactly what's going through the dog's mind and really focus on relationship building and helping them build that confidence. It's because if you take a dog into those situations, it's almost like being counterproductive. Dog's not going to respond well, even though you might think it is, it's really not going to. And that's why I say make sure that you focus on getting a dog trainer when you're doing these kind of things, because a dog trainer is going to give you the right structure, the right guidance, the right tools for your information and communication to your dog, so that you guys will thrive on your socialization. In my opinion, I believe that dogs that come from rescues or shelters typically are the most vulnerable when it comes to socialization, and that's why you shouldn't socialize that type of dog right off the bat without doing your homework. Now, many of the times with a lot of these dogs, you're not going to know the background. You're not going to know everything like that. So that's why it's so critical that I keep saying get a dog trainer, because that is going to help you further your entire relationship with that dog and communicating with them and them understanding and having a very healthy quality of life. You should never socialize your dog in a stressful environment whatsoever. The second that your dog becomes stressed at all, you need to start taking yourself out of the situation, because that can end up causing more harm than good and arising different incidents. Another example of why you shouldn't socialize your dog, especially at a dog park, is a lot of dogs go there and people are not responsible. Even though you give them the best intention, people are retarded and take their dog to the dog park that have been exposed to kennel cough or have not been vaccinated. You should never socialize your dog at a dog park for those reasons, and never take your dog to a dog park if your dog hasn't been vaccinated or is not current on vaccinations. I'm completely aware that several people are going to disagree with what I'm saying about dog parks, and that's completely fine. But when you look at the numbers on how many dogs are either sick, get bit, or humans get bit from dog parks, you really can't discredit that. Now, it's common sense that you would think, oh, well, if my dog has had kennel cough recently, or if my dog's not vaccinated, I probably shouldn't take him to the dog park. Wrong. So many people are dumb and they do that. You shouldn't socialize your dog if your dog has serious behavioral issues or has any type of aggression at all. At that point, if your dog has any type of serious behavioral issues when it comes to like aggression and you take them into this type of environment, I seriously hope that something bad happens to you because you're being completely irresponsible. You shouldn't socialize your dog if you're an irresponsible dog owner. Honestly, it may sound funny, but it's the absolute truth. If you lack any type of common sense, you shouldn't even be a dog owner. And unfortunately, if you are, you shouldn't socialize your dog because you're putting other dogs and other people at risk. You shouldn't socialize your dog if your dog is like mine and has any type of resource guarding issues, and you think it's okay and appropriate to take your dog to a dog park around family, friends, other dogs. The risk at that time for an incident to happen is super high and more than likely will happen. You shouldn't socialize your dog if your dog has sustained any type of injury recently. You shouldn't socialize your dog in an unbalanced environment with dogs that are maybe a little bit too hyper when it comes to maybe how your dog's behavior is or your dog's body language is, because that's just going to create more stress in that situation. It's a lot easier to make more smarter choices when it comes to socializing your dog than it is having to make a vet visit, having to pay for a vet visit, or ultimately, if something bad happens, having to go to court. You shouldn't socialize your dog right off the bat if you just got a new dog and you're trying to do introductions. You should only introduce your dog after, say, like a week to 2 weeks of them being separated, but them being directly yet indirectly exposed to one another. You shouldn't socialize your dog if you have a new puppy and you just got this puppy. Right off the bat, that dog cannot be in certain elements for several weeks and ultimately several months. Within that same context, you shouldn't socialize your dog if you just got a new dog. Give that dog some time to get familiarized with its surroundings and everything that's going on. You shouldn't socialize your dog, and you should avoid at all possible any people that freak out. Oh my God, it's a dog coming. It's a tiger, it's a bear, it's kangaroos. Watch out for those people. So remember, don't overcomplicate things when you're trying to socialize your dog. Do it very practical and make it very easy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you're smart. Hopefully you got something out of this video and you're going to do the right things when it comes to socialization. As always, have a great week. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.